What is going on, everybody? It's Wednesday, Hump Day. Here we are, 3 men in the basement, and well, it's two of us. Neither one of us are in the basement, but we have a great show lined up for you. The artist, the creator, and the letterer of a new book from Swollen Publishing called MARCVS, and we're going to have guest co-host Mr. Doug Bratton, the smartest man in comics.
You mean this guy?
What's up, Doug?
Hey, Roger. Hey, Chinmo. How are you?
What's going on, man?
Yeah, thanks for joining. You got able to get here a little earlier than you thought, huh?
Yeah, I've been running around all day, but I'm excited to be here with you guys.
Awesome. Happy to have you here, man.
You know who else is excited to see us sometimes, Chin? Why don't you play that video?
This guy.
Hi there. I'm Vincent Zerzola from Metropolis Comics. And when I'm watching Men in a Basement, I like to watch 3 Men in a Basement.
That was a lot of fun.
That might be my favorite intro we had. That's one of them.
Yeah, Uncle Al is a pretty good one too. Al Milgram.
Yeah.
These guys like to have fun when we're at these shows. So, Doug, we got some familiar people to you coming on live in a couple of minutes. So I was glad you agreed to join us. We were just talking backstage about the comic show and how Beth was able to be a part of it with the Isolation crew. So I think I'm going to go to the chat. Let's see who we got live as they come in. We got Mike the Beast Benson, First Family of Comics. Wellbore. Excuse me, I don't have my glasses. If I look like I'm reaching in, that's what
do you want me to do?
No, I'm doing Anachronic Comics. What's going on, buddy? Tommy Piffington. How you doing, bud? Kevin Pernado. I hope I pronounced that right. Seth11. Wellbore. Oh, I think skipped on me. Wookie Fodder 80. What's up, brother? Thanks for joining. The brother's in the house. What's going on?
The actual brother.
Yeah, the brother. My brother. CT Comics in the Comic CT in the house. Thanks for joining us. CT Jazz King, first father of comics. Thanks for joining us. If anybody noticed, I like to give people nicknames. Vancouver Comic Junkie, Mr. VCJ. What is going on, brother? Thanks for joining us all the way from Vancouver, my fellow Canadian brethren. Let me see. The Comic Forge. What's up, guy? Thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
And I think I'm caught up. If I missed you guys in the chat, I'm sorry. I'm getting old. My site's going, and the thing jumped around on me. So keep the comments going, and we'll highlight you when when you say something.
Yeah, I can do that because I have power to do that.
You have power now. Yeah, we let him in. We let him in the big time. So now he has access to.
I can do everything.
Well, I don't know about everything, but.
We'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah, I get it, Seth. Well, I don't know why that would surprise you. There's a lot of Canadian brothers in the comic book community. People don't read, sometimes people like the old comedian said, Canada's kind of like your attic. You forget it's up there, then you poke your head up there, you're like, look at all this shit's up here. So don't forget we're up there, man. We're doing good things, whether we're cold or not. All right, so exciting for me is I was given an opportunity. Reggie had reached out. I got a preview of his brand new book that's coming out. And I'm sure those of you who watch the channel know how huge of a fan of Isolation I am, not only because one of my good friends created it, but it is actually a phenomenal story, and I have enjoyed it. So I was able to get a digital copy of MARCVS, which is the new book that he's publishing. Written by Scott Polachek. I hope I said that right. Jesus.
Polachek.
We were literally just talking to him.
I know. I probably should have said, maybe I should have asked him how to pronounce the name. And he also has Beth Charlin and Chase Cohen helping out on it. So we are lucky enough to get 2 of them to join us tonight to talk about this book, and we're going to do a spoiler-free review. So first, let's bring Scott in. Hey, Scott, how you doing, buddy?
Very well. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. This is
Hey, Doug.
You guys know each other, right?
Good to see you, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From we started with Reggie, and I think it all started with the Smart Guide to Comic Collecting and then sort of grew out from there. So, you know, I've done a lot of stuff for Reggie over the years in the background, you know, some of the t-shirt designs and, you know, the trading cards he did and the comic storage boxes and all that stuff. So I was sort of the guy that did all that stuff in the background. And then when he said, hey, I've got a project that I'd like to do, and he was working with Doug on making the guide to the smart guide to comic collecting.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was, you know, sort of, you know, when we put that together, some of the elements that we have in the guide is what I pulled into this book with using like QR codes and things like that. So it sort of enhances, you know, for the smart guide, it was taking people to like CGC and all the resources and to some of the videos that Reggie had talking about, you know, cleaning and pressing and all those things. So, you know, it was pretty cool, but you know, that's where, you know, Doug and I started working together. And then after that, it went into isolation, and Doug has a fantastic book. And I hope that mine is half as good as his is. So, yeah.
All right.
And Scott, I was going to say, when we worked on the guide, but we first met each other in person, literally in a parking lot in Pennsylvania on my way down to GarageCon to pick up the first print batch of the guide.
Yeah.
So Scott did all of the graphic design and the pre-press and had also worked with the printer. So we'd worked together before that, but that's when we first met each other in person.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I forgot about that. Yeah. it was like a drug deal in my office. You know, if somebody would have drove by, it's like, why are they taking boxes out of that car and putting it into this other car? You know,
I've done a comic deal like that before.
Yeah. Shady to everybody else in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
All right. Next, we're going to bring in Beth Charlin, who I first met, was lucky enough to meet at 3-Man in the Basement Comic Swap with the entire Isolation team. She did some art for Isolation, and now she's involved in this as a letterer. We're going to have to get to that because I'm not as smart as Doug Bratton, and I don't understand the terminology when it comes to art and all that. So eventually you'll have to explain to me what that means. But Beth, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you so much for having me.
Beth.
Hi, Doug.
And we had this, I was definitely lucky to be part of that Q&A session with Doug and the Isolation team. And Beth came in and gave away some awesome shit. I'm very happy to have this. This is volume number 2, right? With her signature. This is her cover art.
Yeah, that's one exclusive.
And then this guy here.
Yep.
Now was this a cover?
So that was a limited edition lino print that I carved specifically for the live stream. So that's a little limited edition print.
It's amazing. It's amazing, and I'm so happy I was lucky enough to win that.
He was giddy after winning that. Absolutely giddy.
Yeah. Especially I didn't have this cover. You're from Isolation, and then get this card on there as well. That's definitely shored everything up, you know, in the collection now.
That's awesome.
So we're here to talk about. Let me see, Jimbo.
I said, hey, am I doing this or you?
No, I got. I know how I'm going with this.
All right.
So here's the A cover, black and white in color. MARCVS.
Yeah. So the cover on the right is the A cover, and the B cover is the black and white. So I think if you go to SwoldierPublishing.com, there's packages up for both of those.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, and he does a lot of cool things with packages. I know I did one for Isolation one time. It was like a mystery. I got so much cool shit. Even one was like a coverless. You know, we always talk about how much Otto loves the coverless books, and I actually got one of those, which was pretty neat. He was jealous, and I'm not giving it to him. So I don't. We definitely said we were going to do a spoiler-free review. Reggie was kind enough to share the digital copy to me,
sure.
And I asked him, and he allowed me to share it with Chinmo. So we have both read issue number 1. So before we do any of that, I would like to lean on Beth and Scott on explain the synopsis, story, whatever you have shared up to date, so we know how far we can go.
Yeah, I'm afraid to talk before you guys do.
Yeah, so I think it's into our best interest, and if I ever want to get to do something like this again, in the channel's interest, that I don't say too much. So I think I would like to have the two of you speak on this. Who would like to go first?
Scott.
Scott, okay.
Sure. So the story, the title is MARCVS, and what I did is I took the sort of the inspiration for the story. It's historical fiction. It is based a little bit on biblical. So the story is about Marcus Longinus. So in the Bible, there was a Roman centurion that stabbed Christ when he was on the cross, and he was blind in one eye. And when he stabbed Christ, the blood that came down into his face cured his blindness. But there's also a legend that says that it also made him immortal. He is to be the first witness of the second coming of Christ. So he has to wander the earth until the second coming. The spear that he stabbed him with is actually the legendary Spear of Destiny. So, there was, in World War II, Hitler had an entire division of the SS, which was trying to find every holy relic they could. And the Spear of Destiny was one of those ones that was right at the top. So the story itself, it starts off in issue 1. You meet a reporter named Carmen Gentile, and he's looking into, he's embedded with troops in Afghanistan. He's looking into this figure that has been, just causing a lot of unrest and things like that. And other reporters that have been looking into him have died. So he's looking into this guy, and next thing you know, there's an assassination attempt on him. And he survives it. And it's a pretty brutal assassination attempt. And then after that, he finds himself in the middle between these two immortal figures that have been battling since, the time of, they're both Roman centurions, and they've been battling since the time of Christ. So, one guy is trying to bring about the apocalypse, and the other guy is, Marcus is trying to, save humanity and find redemption. So that's sort of the overall story line and story arc. The other thing that we released last week was the reporter in the story, Carmen Gentile, is a friend of mine. He's a family friend, and he was a war reporter. He was embedded with troops in Afghanistan, and he did survive an RPG attack. An RPG was shot and hit him in the face, and bounced off his face and hit a soldier, broke the soldier's arm, but he survived, that attack. So in the book, we do take part of that story, and it is in MARCVS. So, and it was funny because the idea for MARCVS, the idea for MARCVS and the other Roman centurion Cassius, I had that story rolling around and everything was good, but I didn't have anything to fit it together. When Carmen got shot and everything, being a family friend, we were naturally worried about him and everything. And eventually Carmen wrote a book about that experience. And it was one of those things where as soon as I read the book, all the pieces just kind of, I found that connective tissue where everything fit together exactly the way I wanted it to. And I called him up and I'm like, hey, I want to use you in a comic book. And he was like, really? I'm like, I was like, yeah, I'm serious. And I kind of gave him the idea, and he was like, okay, that sounds really cool. Yeah, go ahead. So that's where
this is his book here, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's called Blindsided by the Taliban. And last week he definitely told everybody that he had wanted to originally name it Kissed by the Taliban. However, there were certain outlets that sell books that told him you can't use a term of endearment towards the Taliban. And he was like, I'm being ironic.
Yeah.
and however they didn't see it that way, so he had to change the title to Blindsided by the Taliban. But it's a phenomenal book. I mean, it really is. And his story is absolutely amazing, and I'm very grateful that he had trusted me to be able to use it in this. And I think it, there's some interesting things within the book that, it's, he was actually shooting video when he got shot. And as I said, there are QR codes in the book, and one of the QR codes takes you to the video of him being shot. So it's pretty wild.
Guys, I got to watch that. If you don't buy, you're going to have, first of all, when this comes out, you're going to have to buy it. Right? If you scan that QR code, it literally is like a body camera, and you see and hear everything happen. And you can
crazy.
You can hear him going, am I gonna lose my eye? Like, and the guy's like, I saw your baby blues. You're not gonna lose your eye. Like, like that's real shit. That's not like a movie. Like it was pretty intense. I didn't expect that when I scanned the QR code. Yeah.
I think it definitely gives some depth, to the story. In what we were talking about in the backstage, it's like having a DVD and having that behind the scenes kind of thing. So you'll see there's Chase captured exactly what happened so very well in the artwork and everything, that it really, adding that video, when you put the two together, it has a lot of impact.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Like I said, being lucky enough to have seen both of them. Thank you, Matt. We appreciate you. I don't wish that on anybody.
Oh, absolutely, Matt. Yeah.
All right. Before we get to questions, I want to hear, Beth, your thoughts, how you got involved in this, kind of all that.
Well, I was lucky enough to get involved with isolation first and foremost through Reggie. And, from that project, lettering that project specifically, when, I was on Reggie's live stream months and months ago, and he announced to everyone, oh, by the way, Beth's doing my second project that's in development. I'm going, I haven't heard anything about this second project. Apparently I'm part of it. Fantastic. Good. I had no idea what it was, but I was very happy to be just put in there immediately.
Yeah. Nice.
And it was just, I was brought on along with Chase. Got to work very closely with Chase, who's phenomenal. I mean, he's absolutely brilliant. It was really great working behind the scenes, collaboratively, to get this true story, into such a creative medium. And so, yeah, I'm lettering the book, and basically very excited to see how everyone finds it.
She didn't just letter it. She literally breathed life into the story. The way that she chose the lettering, when you look at the scenes when, the video, like Chase did it, so it looks like the actual, video that's being shot. But what she chose and how she chose to depict the lettering and the words, it was perfect. Like, this book really did come out better than my expectations. Like, I had this image in my head, and it came out so much better. And largely because of things like that, what Beth did with the lettering and everything. She breathed life into the story.
I noticed that even when I was reading through it, that especially when you have multiple pages and panels, even with like a bunch of different people, there's a part in the story with a lot of different conversations happening, and just the small touches on some of how they are talking, like with their letters, it really does enhance the story quite a bit. It's fantastic. Very well done.
Well, that's the best thing I can hear. If you can read it, I've done my job really well.
I think we've had conversations before about, trying to read a comic and having no idea if I'm going left, right, up, down. It's confusing. This definitely was easy to follow and easy to read.
Fantastic. That's great. That's really good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, job well done.
Yeah. So Chase, too bad he couldn't join us. He did some art on isolation, Is that how we got connected with this project as well?
Yeah, so Chase jumped on board with Delia Gunderson, and is also a lead artist on Isolation. And he's got that sort of 90s action comic style. And I think it just goes really, really well with the sort of action adventure military style of MARCVS. So having him jump on board was a great choice.
Yeah, when I saw his style in Isolation, I told Reggie that was exactly what I wanted, because he has a little bit more, it's a little bit more harder edge, a little bit rougher, and this story it deals with some a little bit more difficult topics and scenes, and I thought his use and the way he added depth, the first page is just a knockout. Like it absolutely is a knockout. I can't wait for some people just to see the first page and some of the beautiful imagery that he makes on that first page.
So Reggie did send me a couple of panels that I was allowed to share. So this is some of the stuff.
Yep. This is when Carmen gets to the base in Kunar province, and the commander is not too happy with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these are the scenes that like from what Carmen was shooting the video. But like I said, these panels are fantastic on their own. But when you take a look at the lettering that Beth chose to put here, it just adds so much more, to this.
Agreed.
Yeah, big time.
I love this style art. I really do. I mean, most Isolation has a similar feel. Doug, did he do any of the interior pages for Isolation?
Yeah, so Chase did the entire issue number 3 interior art, and then in issue 4, Delia did the scenes from the 1990s, and Chase did the scenes from the 1860s, which was the bulk of issue 4. So he's done about half of the interior art on Isolation.
Oh,
nice.
Cool.
Nice. And I both books have a great art, and I love that, the Isolation MARCVS family, like you guys all, like, you really do good work. And I mean, this is the issue that, right? This, I mean, Doug, this is my favorite issue just because of the wow factor at the end of the book, and I went nuts when I was because of what happens in there, and like, and to the point where you guys actually gave me the inside panel of that, the artwork of it, and it's like, it's not very often you're reading a comic book and it drops out of your hand. Everybody in your house goes, "What the hell's the matter with you?" Like, I was just like, "Holy F!" Like, so I look for, like, and there was definitely a couple times in MARCVS that I had that same reaction. Like, holy crap, what is this? This is intense. Like, so I guess without spoiler is so you told us at the beginning of this book is your friend's story. Is the entire book going to be that, or is this kind of like the leapfrog into the story that you've written?
It's the leapfrog to get into the story that I wrote. I mean, Carmen is part of the story throughout. So, again, him being the investigative reporter, kind of looking into things, and then, joining MARCVS in trying to, basically it's the two of them that are trying to, it all comes down to the Spear of Destiny and gaining power. So, it's a race against time. So we have it spanning over different periods of time. There's one of the issues which is going to be more about Marcus and Cassius, but it's set in Rome, and sort of that what happened, how when they found out that they were immortal, and things like that. It's a pretty shocking scene, between the, for both of them and everything. So, again, there is a religious, this is an actual character that was in the Bible. They were, these two centurions were with Pontius Pilate. So, you get to find out, a lot of people don't know the historical fact of, of Pontius Pilate being the guy that condemned Christ, but what happened to him afterwards?
Yeah.
I did a lot of extensive research and everything. So, we kind of touch on those areas and things like that. So it sort of, follows Marcus and Cassius and their battle through time. There's a good World War II, also another World War II issue that focuses more on Cassius than anything else. So I think it's a pretty compelling story all the way to the end. Right now we have it's slated as 6 issues. So I think it's a pretty good story that'll carry people through. And the QR codes and all those different types of elements I've set up so that we're going to use those throughout. In every issue, you're going to have a couple different QR codes that are going to take you to different videos, or in the first issue, I have a soundtrack that I created that I shared on Spotify. So you can scan that and, go to Spotify and kind of hear the same music that I was thinking of as I was writing and coming up with the ideas and stuff like that. And I'll do that for every issue. And some of those songs will go with the panels. If you play it as you're reading the book, it sort of soundtracks the book pretty nicely.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about this a little bit before backstage, like how it really does kind of bring the media of a comic book into a whole nother level, where I kind of described it somewhat as like you're watching a DVD, but then after you get all the bonus features, like the behind the scenes, the deleted scenes, the making of, like bloopers, how this went into it, the bloopers, like all this stuff, kind of like what you took going into this story and how it kind of flows together as one. Because I mean, you can just read it as, just a regular story, don't have to scan anything. And it's a great story from what you described, and being able to read that first issue. I'm looking forward to issue 2. But the fact that you have all these little details in there really does kind of elevate different type of storytelling, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So you have 6 issues written to this point? So is that like this is going to be a mini series and we'll see if we get a spin-off from there kind of thing? Or?
Well, I mean, when you have characters that have lived that long, you absolutely can go, you can tell backstories and stuff, but at the end of the 6th issue, it's the end. Now, it could be open. The way I have it could be open. But no, I intended to have this as there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end to this story. In doing a lot of research on this, I came across, I always fall down these internet, holes and found some stuff that I have as an idea for a second series that I want to do that's a little bit different. And I said, there's a way that I could write it and tie it into the end of this book. So I was like, I wonder if that would work. But let's get through Marcus first. Let's hopefully everybody sees it and enjoys it and gets some good positive feedback.
Yeah,
very cool.
So Elizabeth, when you do, because I didn't really know what a letterer was until
I tried to explain it to him
until I was corrected because my thumbnail and Reggie's like, can you change that? And I was like, I didn't mean to insult anybody, but I'm not that kind of behind the scenes stuff. But so now I understand what it is, right? And it's you choose where the words go, that kind of thing. Is there collaboration with the other guys, like this is what I was thinking in this panel, or are you just like you read it, you look at the panel and you're like, this is what I'm doing?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I'm an over collaborator. I like to be kind of knowing what's going on and helping out wherever I can. So for me, I definitely try and push collaboration, and it definitely makes things so much easier and smoother in the development stage specifically. When Chase is doing his rough layouts or Delia's doing her rough layouts, one of the things that sometimes slips minds is, this is a fantastic scene. We've got 6 panels in a page, and we've also got, thanks to Doug usually, 20 balloons. Maybe
I know I had some pretty lengthy balloons in there too that we had to trim down. I think we were on the 7th version of the script by the time we were doing it. So
absolutely, yeah, there's some trimming that has to happen. But balloons add a lot of white to a page. They always add a lot of white, and they have to go somewhere. And the rule of thumb is you can't cover up heads and you can't cover up hands. So in the development stage, if you've got a back and forth talking between 2 characters and it's just heads and hands going back and forth, where does the dialogue go? So that's when I would say, hey, we have some dialogue we have to put in here. Could we maybe pull back? Have a wider shot? Maybe there's some more negative space around the characters. What can we do here so that the balloons don't cover up any important information? And that is where the collaboration really comes along. And the earlier we do that, the easier and faster the process is, and we can get it done into the printer with little to no correction at the very end.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when you have a page,
Mm-hmm.
you know what's got to go on there. It's a matter of where to put it and where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. So the script is usually broken down into page 1, panel 1, and then dialogue 1, 2, 3, who's saying it, what they're saying. So for me, I can ignore the big chunk of text that says Doug Bratton walks into a baseball shop and, the wind is blowing through his luscious locks. And I can skip straight to, someone saying, what are you doing here? That's my section. So I'm looking for who's speaking. Are there multiple back and forth speakers? What's going on there, and where can I put it? And that's my
that was
section.
actually page 3 of MARCVS that she
Yes. Yeah.
described.
Spoiler alert.
the luscious locks.
The luscious locks.
Doug makes a cameo. Is that what? I must have read the wrong. I must have read the wrong story.
Yeah.
That's in that blooper reel we were talking about. That's
the QR code.
There's a hidden,
hair.
There's a hidden QR code that links to a little mini movie.
All right, I'm looking forward to that. It must be in the print one because it wasn't in the digital copy. Doug, you got any questions?
I was just going to add, Beth joked around about being an over collaborator, but I think, the thing I've really enjoyed about working with Beth is she does see her role not just as like, okay, give me a page and I put this there. It's how is this going to work properly? And it really is like an editor's eye on a script and on a rough pencil, to be able to stop an artist from like spending a day inking a page when the wording isn't going to fit, those catches, and literally telling the writer, like, now, fortunately, Beth and I, Scott doesn't have this, but Beth and I live close. So Beth can actually like say, hey, let's meet up for coffee. And then be like, no. We have to shut this down by we get to do that. But I've really enjoyed that Beth thinks that way. Like she truly is a key collaborator on the creative team. She's an artist. She's, as you've seen with her variant covers in isolation, she's an amazing artist. She's an amazing inker. So she also understands that side of it. And in a small indie, when you don't have like a paid editor and a paid art director, you need collaborators that are willing to speak up and be honest when like, hey, something's not going to work, or it might work okay, but it's going to work better if we make these changes. And Beth's incredible at doing that.
Yeah. I mean, as the writer, I've read that script a million times. I've thought of that script. It's been rolling around in my head. And when you put it on paper, having somebody else look at it and say, I know what you're saying here, but there might be a little bit better way to say it. I mean, again, it's that thing where, you can see you got to see you can't see the forest through the trees. Having somebody from the outside look at it and provide valuable input that still conveys, again, I'll make whatever changes that need to be made as long as we're conveying the story correctly. So when I had a panel written, or I had said, hey, let's lay this panel out, and Chase said, I've got a different way that I'd like to do this, I gave him full freedom to do that. The same thing with Beth. I would rather have her give me an idea and say, listen, I think this would run and flow a lot better if we did it this way. And I won't be as rigid. I'll take a look at it. If it works, absolutely, I'm all for it. I mean, the idea is to put out the best product that we can. I mean, we're not, Swolger Publishing isn't Marvel. It's not DC. It's not Image. Hell, it's not even an Aftershock. We've got to, you have to survive, and the way you survive is you have to put out good content. And I think, Isolation has proven to be a very good book, from artwork, from the writing, the whole 9 yards. And we're just, I'm hoping that MARCVS does the same thing, that follows in suit, that we put out another quality comic that, some people will read it and love it. Some people won't. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. But, I'm hoping that what we've put together is a very good, compelling story that, can push forward. So.
Well,
So I do want to add, as full disclosure, I think the only person on this live stream who has not read the finished comic yet. I've
thought you
seen
did.
pages. No, I've seen pages, and I've like a year and a half ago, I read an early draft of the script, but I got the full thing when I was eating dinner before I had to hop into a work meeting, before I had to hop on. So I will be reading it as soon as we get off the. Reggie sent it to me, but I came from work meeting to here, so.
Yeah. I thought I sent you the link for the digital copy. I apologize. That's my fault.
And if you might have, I might have missed it. I've had a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's all about who you know, Doug. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Don't feel slighted.
Roger got hooked up. Chinmo got hooked up.
I would say I got to read it, so I'm like, so
Beth,
you gotta get on that.
Beth is always the first person to see the finished product. That's the joy of being the letterer, is before anybody else gets to read that final page, Beth has to complete it. So
yeah,
cool.
I always get the sneak preview before anyone else, and it's one of my favorite parts of my job, is that I get to be the first person to put all the creativity together into the final product and be like, yeah, we did it. That's is cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yep. And I think, the cover that Chase did was fantastic. I'm very happy. My LCS, which is Jaff Comics here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, they did a store exclusive. So I'm very, very, there's the store exclusive for Jaff.
That's a great cover.
I'm very grateful to John Hahn and Jaff Comics for doing that, to support the project. And they've been big supporters of Isolation throughout. So, it's very cool to get support like that.
Is this a cover that can be bought on Reggie's website, or is it exclusive to the LCS?
If you go to jaffcomics.com, they do have he does have pre-orders for that. This cover, my friend of mine that I grew up with, Tom Aresto, he drew the Centurion, and the coloring of the Centurion, he did it in a day because he had work, and then my wife did the coloring on the Centurion, and then I did the rest of the graphic design of the cover.
No kidding, that looks awesome.
Yeah, great.
Putting out the ocean of blood and everything else. So, but yeah, I mean, again, these projects, it's the pre-sales, It's the packages that Reggie puts together. It's stores like Jaff that support by purchasing advanced copies of it or doing a store exclusive cover. Those all, the sponsors. I think Blue Chip Comics has an ad in the back that I designed for them on the back of the book. All of those things really help fund this project, to be able to do this. So, tell your family, tell your friends, run out a pre-order, it's that support that really helps, these projects. And again, if it's, hopefully again, if this is successful, that funds Doug's next project and my next project, or, Reggie's, somebody that submits to Reggie and says, hey, I've got a good project that we'd like to do. If it's something that Reggie believes in, he is one of the best to support us. So having somebody like Reggie, I can't thank him enough, because this has been a childhood dream of mine that is now come true.
And I just dropped the link to
right
Reggie's
in the
website in the chat. You click on that, it's going to take you right to the MARCVS page where you can pick a package. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different ones to choose from. So
I believe one of those packages is Carmen's book. It's a signed version of Carmen's book as well.
Oh yes,
cool.
Blindside by the Taliban hardcover, signed. Yeah,
that's the one I've got my eyes on.
Yeah,
that's a really cool package there.
Yeah, I just got all the copies of his book delivered to me. So as soon as Carmen's back in the States, he's going to sign them. I think all of us, the team's going to be at New York Comic-Con. I'll be there all 4 days. Carmen's going to be there all 4 days. He's a journalist. He has his own media company, so he got press passes. So he said, he's like, I've never been to a con before. I'm like, well, here you're going, and you'll be able to sign some books too. So
that's
very cool.
But Reggie will be there. Beth is going to be there. And I'm trying right now to, see if we can get some additional passes and whatnot. So, hopefully if you're at New York Comic-Con, look for us. And love to share and talk about comics. So
maybe,
very cool.
Maybe 2024, who knows? Maybe.
Absolutely. I'm definitely down for that.
Yeah. Shameless plug right there. All right, I appreciate you guys joining us. Chin, we're gonna put you up first.
For what?
Spoiler-free review.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
We're doing that.
I know. I was like, what am I talking about?
We kept Beth and Scott a little longer than we told them we were going to keep them, and we appreciate that. But we want to, we want to be able to tell them what we think.
Yeah, no, I'm going to keep this brief just because I'm afraid of letting anything slip. But I just recently, actually, I read it earlier today. Just honest overall opinion is I loved it. I am a big fan of historical fiction, and especially where you can take that and put it into like a modern twist on it. And the fact that that modern twist also happens to be part of like a true story is even cooler, especially such a crazy one. Really kind of fits into it. I am very excited to read issue 2 from there. Issue 1 has done enough for me to where I am now interested in what the story is doing, to where I want to know more, and I want to. I don't want to say unravel the mystery, but like I want to get the full like, okay, what exactly is going on here? And I'm very excited. You guys did great. It's beautiful looking, very well written. So job well done all around.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Good review, Chin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what he said I agree with, and also it's very similar to Isolation. Like when it was over, I was like, I want more. Like I didn't want it to end. I'm trying not to swear because I got in trouble the last time I did it. Drop the F-bomb. But it was the fact that knowing it was that first part of the true story, especially in our conversations and like reading the synopsis of knowing where it's going. And it's, you know, you get to the end, it's like, who the hell's that guy? Like, like, I want to read the second one now. I don't want to wait until you publish it. And when you can finish reading the book and you're done and you're like, no, that's not good. I want to read the second one now. And you're like, you know, like from Willy Wonka, I want it now. Like that's when you know it was well written, well made up, set up, and the art, as usual, is just knocked out of the park. I'm very excited about reading the rest of this. I'm glad I got a sneak peek, but I really, everybody out there, when this comes out, get a copy. Or not when it comes out, pre-sales. Go to the link that I put in there.
Yep. Link will be at the bottom too when we post it.
Yeah, support, you know, people like this that are trying to put these books out. It's how Isolation was made. It's how this one's going to be made. It's how, Christ, maybe yours. If you're watching this, maybe that's how you get published. You know, go pre-order, get that in there so they can pay for the publishing, so we can get this paper copy in our hands, and I can see those QR codes. I got to scan one of those QR codes of the body cam of what was happening, and it was absolutely blew my mind. Like it you know, like it was like I just read this. And now I'm watching it, you know, like it really puts it in perspective and adds this whole different, unique, you know, part to the book that wasn't there. And you know, and also I think the other thing is when you're reading a book like this, it's intriguing because it happened in a time period where I was alive and I experienced what was going on. You know, you saw guys like this, you know, doing, you know, on TV, all buckled up like they were the ones fighting, you know, just to bring in news reports. So the fact that this is somebody that Scott knows and this really happened to him, like, how the hell do you get hit with one of those and you're still alive? Like, this just completely blows my mind, you know. Like, and it's true. Like, you know, it's you know, bravo. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait till the next.
Thank you, Rod.
Doug, what's your review?
Well, 2 thumbs up. I will say, through reading an early draft of the script, knowing Scott, knowing, you know, and talking to Beth a lot and seeing a lot of the pages, I know it's going to be an awesome product. I'm glad I get to read it tonight and I don't have to wait until October when it comes out. But I'm excited. I'm always excited. And really, I'm more excited for Scott because I got to experience this. I can't wait until he gets that hard copy in his hands for the first time. It's an amazing feeling. But one thing I don't know that it's been mentioned, and Scott, I don't know how much you bring it up or not, but you're a veteran, correct? You're a service veteran, right?
Yeah, I was in the Navy. So okay, I was in the Persian Gulf. I did 2 tours over in the Gulf. But I always laugh because when I was there, it was 87, 88. I went in right out of high school. And when I was there, we were blowing up Kuwaiti oil platforms and giving weapons to the Iraqis. So
a little different.
And then right after I got out, that's when everything, the sides flipped. So yeah, it's, that whole area of the world is just a little crazy, but you know, everybody that was in, and I know a lot of friends that were in Army and served in Afghanistan and stuff like that. And absolutely, you know, being a ground troop, I can't even imagine that. I mean, being on a ship is totally different than being on the ground. So, you know, my heartfelt respect and deep felt thanks goes out to everybody that served in the military and certainly anybody that was in infantry or ground troops. So.
But I brought that up because your experience isn't just through Carmen and his book. It's also, yours might have been a little different than his, but you've experienced that too. And I think that's really important. I think that comes through. It came through when I read the scripts. I'm sure it will when I read the book too. And just also, I appreciate your service. So.
Well, when my mother read it, she told me, she goes, it's a very nice story, there's a little salty language in there. I said, Mom, that's the military. I mean, what do you want me to say? I'm trying to make it, realistic, as realistic. She goes, what, do you have to do it with, there's only 3 swear words in there, but it's a little salty. So I was like, okay.
There's nothing like getting a critique from a parent.
Yeah.
I was like, I was waiting for something else, but then when I get the it's a little salty, I'm like, oh, okay.
Scott, my dad's a minister, so I get it.
Oh well, he may like and definitely not like this story at the same time.
Oh, I definitely know I did. So everybody, you're watching it now. You're watching a rewind. Here it is, cover A, cover B. Go to the link that I put in the chat and support these guys. Buy one of the packages. Get this thing published so that you can get it in your hands and read it, because I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy it as much as I did.
It's in the printer's hands right now, so we'll have it for hopefully for New York Comic-Con. So
awesome.
Beautiful. Scott, Beth, we really appreciate you guys joining us. Sorry I kept you so long. I know I told you guys like 10-15 minutes, but
no worries. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And look out, because I'll probably be reviewing every book that comes out, kind of like I did with Isolation. So
awesome.
Excellent.
Thanks so much. It's always a pleasure to talk to everyone.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great talking, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye, guys.
All right.
There we go. All right.
What are you doing in my spot? Yeah. Dug in the basement.
I say Roger's moving over there.
All right. So that was awesome.
That was
I'm looking forward to reading those. I definitely enjoyed that first one, and as talking to them, it gets to be even more real. Like, I knew that it was about him, his friend. And then when I that QR code, I was like, well, this isn't just about him. This is what happened to him.
Yeah, it's very legitimate.
Yeah, and then to hear his kind of like synopsis of what's upcoming, how the biblical portion of it, and these 2 people, how much bigger of characters they are than just some quack from Afghanistan that's trying to kill people, makes it pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know, Matt. I know we're still alive, buddy. Thanks. Are you trying to tell us to get off? So before we go, we're going to we're just going to talk about Ahsoka a little bit, okay? Because I haven't had a chance to do this. Doug, are you a Star Wars guy? Are you? You watching the Ahsoka show?
Episode.
Yeah,
yep, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I know that we have a show coming up next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, big recap show. We're going to talk about the series as a whole, Star Wars as a whole, where it fits in. There's going to be some giveaways, such as, not that, but this is a great lead-in. I love it.
Wow.
This is going to be.
Oh, you were supposed to have it showing. Like I was
No,
anyway.
I just wanted to do this. This is an exclusive poster they handed out at the screening of the 5th episode in theaters. I was lucky enough to go, so we're going to give away this poster.
That is dope.
And it's going to be, be some more stuff, but that's going to be the bigger one. I don't know if it's going to be one giveaway, multiple giveaways, but someone's going home with that poster.
Yeah,
that was a great episode.
I can make that show because it was, and
probably the best episode.
Yeah, and I think
4 and 5 were.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. This last one was like,
it's the lead-in.
You're leading into.
They had to move the chess pieces around the board.
Exactly.
It's
the calm before the storm.
They can go anywhere, but how do you wrap this all up that in one episode? Like, it feels like there should be 5 more.
In my head right now, I'm like, how is this episode going to be anything shorter than an hour and a half? Like, how is this not going to be a movie type episode? And I know, and great, we're going to dive into this more next week, but I know it's a lead into a little bit of what Filoni has his, Heir to the Empire movie or whatever they're calling it.
Yep.
So I'm not expecting some kind of huge big thing because I know it's a lead in, but like, man, I'm just so excited. I just want more because it's been so well done.
I think that last episode, like, there's a couple of times like, all right, what's this guy's deal? Like, what is Balin like? all of a sudden he doesn't want to help. Like, go make yourself famous, or, Ezra, like, what, bro? Like, pick up a saber and fight. What the hell's your problem? Like, what's this? To me, it's just not something right. There's something off with Ezra.
He's been by himself. He hasn't picked up a lightsaber in 10, 15 years, give or take.
Oh, again, so the witches say I feel, I smell Jedi, but they can't find Ezra. Like, I don't like.
Maybe he had to shut himself off. Who knows? Pulled a Luke from episode 8.
Oh, for crazy!
There might be a twist coming that you're seeing.
I think there's
more other people.
Yeah, I think there's more to it than that. I think between Balin and him, like the way they acted weird in that last episode, I think there's something more to it.
It makes me so upset, and I feel so bad for friends and family. But the fact that Ray Stevenson's no longer with us, because I've loved his acting and basically everything he's been in. Character. But this character, I just want more. I want more of this character.
You don't think they'll recast?
It depends. Who knows? Who knows what happens with them next episode, or if we even see him next episode, or it could just be like, hey, this happened. We get it in the movie or a book or a TV show or a comic or something. I don't. The fact that who knows? They very well could. I don't think they would though. Just especially out of respect
if their overall storyline, if he had a big part in it, how do you just let's scrap the story and go?
You gotta figure out something.
People have been recast forever. Like the first time they didn't was Chadwick
Boseman.
Yeah, Chadwick. Like other than that, things happen. They recast people. It happens. Like,
and it's going to be we're going to see what happens next week. Maybe. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe
it's a moot point. Maybe he.
Maybe he dies.
Head cut off, and maybe it's a moot point.
Something happens, or who knows? So we'll talk about this more next week.
Yeah. I have definitely thoroughly enjoyed it. It's the whole beginning part where it was just like picking up Rebels. All the that big episode where the Clone Wars and Little Ahsoka, and it's just absolutely.
Oh, you mean this episode?
Yes. Just the whole thing of the world between worlds. Like, is that what it was? Is she imagining it? Was she really sent there? Because it wasn't like he sensed her. He heard the lightsaber. So.
Oh, Nick, get out of the stream, buddy. You're great. I love you. Don't ruin it for yourself.
Oh my God.
But next week, big Ahsoka recap show. We're gonna do the whole series. We're gonna talk Star Wars as a whole, maybe a ranking system. I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody about this. I'm just spitballing, but it's gonna be fun.
He's making it up as he goes.
Yeah, there's gonna be giveaways. It's gonna be some fun stuff. Mike the Beast suggested some over and under.
Uh-huh.
Maybe we'll see. I've been pretty busy. We'll see. If not, there's still gonna be giveaways. Can't wait.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Too bad we couldn't do a watching party, like live, because we'll get fucking dinged.
We can. We just can't show the video. We can just show our faces going.
Yeah, but the problem is everybody streams. They're all like 3 seconds off. It's like watching a football game in 2 different rooms.
Yeah,
like my son's cheering before I even see the play happen.
That's true.
Yeah, it's the worst when it's a game-ending field goal. Because someone else. You know the ending before it happens, before you see it. It's annoying.
The life of streaming.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Doug, I appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, man, it was great.
Yeah. Let's, why don't you tell
Thanks
people
for having me on.
What you're up to, what you got going on, what, like what's next with Isolation, and what's next for Doug Bratton with Reggie. Come on, let the people hear the smartest man in comics.
Thank you. Well, the next thing coming up is New York Comic Con. I don't have my schedule yet, so I'm not sure which days I'm there signing yet, but Isolation team and the MARCVS team will both be there with Reggie. So I'll be there sometime, and we'll let you know when, and promote that through Instagram once we have that. Next up for Isolation, Reggie keeps everything kind of close to the vest. What I can tell you is that the next issue is in production. Awesome. So it's coming, and Roger knows probably a
I
lot
know what's
more
coming, and I'm not telling you.
He knows a lot more than most because he was
I was very
a
fortunate to be
supporter.
part of the panel. Be part of that panel with
Yeah.
the Q&A. I got to hear some pretty cool insider stuff. So
Yeah, so
Hell
a lot of good stuff coming in the next several issues. So
looking forward to it. Well, congratulations on all the success of it. You deserve it. You did a great job.
Absolutely.
Thank
you ever
and
thought
thanks
about
for
just,
having
like-
me on it.
Oh no, go continue. Sorry. Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, have you ever thought about just like getting like a T-shirt that says "Smartest Man in Comics," or because we know a guy, we can hook it up for
We
you.
know a guy, yeah.
Maybe like a little plaque or something, you know, like one of those little
Oh,
desk
Well,
plaques.
well, have one made for
I
your
should
wife.
get
too.
the shirt because if I wear it anywhere but the house, people will look at me strange. But I could wear it around and drive my wife crazy with it.
Yeah,
so
and you can
that's a
wear it
good
on our
idea.
live streams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that. We'll talk. We'll talk.
Okay.
You never know. You might wear it out one day like grocery shopping, and someone's like, "Doug
What?
Bratton?
Yeah, yeah. You're the smartest man in
Yeah,
comics.
you never know."
I appreciate you, Doug, and definitely look forward to the next next level of isolation with the book 2, right?
Yep.
Book 2. Yeah.
Yep.
Chinmo, what do you got? Anything good? Next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, be here, talk some Star Wars with us. Fun
Good
giveaways.
stuff.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot going on right now. Just a lot of work and other stuff and
I
Star
hear ya.
Wars toys and all that stuff.
I'm just happy I got on a live stream.
I would say it's great having you, man.
Yeah, I haven't been around like that. I got a lot of stuff going on. My job has got me pretty inundated with work. We have a lot of work, and it's one of those things. So when I get a little time off, it's a long time with Mama and taking care of stuff around the house. I wish I could join more often. Hopefully, it lessens up over the next couple months so I can join more live streams. Psyched Friday morning, I leave to go see my son in college for the first time since we dropped him off. It's friends and family weekend.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The football game on Saturday, a couple days with me, my wife, and my daughter get to go see him and stuff. So
Very cool.
I miss the hell out of him. I'm sure as Doug does his son. So looking forward to that. Other than that, hopefully I'll be able to join on next Wednesday. Everybody have a great weekend. On behalf of Evernato, Doug Bratton, Dave Chinmo, I am Roger Levesque. This is 3 Men in the Basement. We are out. Good night, Canada.
I didn't have to say it this time.